All right. Well, thank you for being with us tonight. We are on another episode of.
Hey guys, Habib is
Hamid is in the house.
in the house.
اوكي شربتي عشيتي انت بلاش عليك هذا الريستورون بعد سالينا. All right. Well, thank you for being here. This is another episode of Another Day in Paradise, and I am with my friend Reda. And today we decided. Sorry, I didn't even give you time to say hello.
It's all
You
good,
know,
it's
just
all
squeeze
good.
it in. Don't worry about it. That's what she said.
Feels
Enzo.
like home.
Listen.
That's what she
The-
said. All right,
We're
let's
not
start.
cutting this part. It started off rough starts. It's gonna be a good ending.
All
That's
right.
what she said. So I wanted to. I saw a house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of architecture.
Which one?
Exactly. Nice. I see where you're going with this. I
All
don't
right.
know if you did it on purpose or not, but
Of
it was
course.
good. Of course. There you go. Roll with it. So there is a house called The One,
The one.
and
Can we even call that a house?
listen,
It's
the house. Like, just start with the title, The One. It's also showing how, if you buy this house, you are the one who has the house. Like, there is a lot.
it's
There are a lot of meanings
it's
behind it.
a one in a billion.
Yeah, I don't
house.
think there are many houses like this. This one is close to $300 million.
Yeah, 295 apparently.
Yeah, and so I will tell you the story about it because I know a little more about it. I did a little bit of research about it. It's so we just checked it out, and it's 21 bedroom, 49 bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
It's so big. It has like swimming pools, and I mean swimming
Multiple.
pools, multiple
Indoor,
swimming pools.
outdoor.
Indoor, outdoor. The garage looks like a garage for a mall. It's so big. It's not like a two-door garage, like
yeah.
a two-car garage or three-car garage. It's almost like you can get lost in the garage, and also like when those kind of houses, like when you enter the gate,
Yeah.
for the distance from the gate to the main door of the house, you need a car
Yeah.
because it's so big. So, anyways, this house is, and we were discussing. You said, "Yeah, sure. I mean, I would see people buying it."
Is that how I talk?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, sure.
Yeah, no, yeah. Okay.
So, who do you think could buy a house like this? So we will put like the video and people can check it out.
Well, usually these types of properties, I guess, are bought either by, like wealthy Middle Eastern people or Russian
Careful.
oligarchs.
Yeah, we're
Or
rich.
sometimes it's like conglomerates of like investors that just buy properties like that.
So let me tell you something that's
Mhm.
interesting. So this guy he displays and he reviews houses. He shows them and
Mhm.
like luxurious houses in France, in Italy, and mostly in the U.S. And this one, the realtors, they were like, "Oh, this is spectacular! Look at this house! Look at this room! This living room! It's like the size of like a large apartment, like a very large apartment, just the living room. And then there is like the spare room, this room right here, the office. The office has like shelves that are so high, like a giant would have a hard time reaching. Like, so it looks good, but it's not practical. And that's the problem with these big houses. It's like supercars. And we will go to supercars right after we finish with the house. But supercars, they are very cool, but they are not like everyday cars. Like, and those houses look cool because everything it's like grandiose. Everything is exaggerated. But living in it would not feel warm and fuzzy.
Of course.
So it's
But I don't
marble
think that
everywhere,
people
cold.
that buy these type of properties are looking for a homey feel.
So you said oligarch or Arabs, as as people say in the South. So okay, so they would buy it for what?
Well,
For their families? How many kids do you think they have?
well, I don't think that when you're at that level of wealth, you think practical,
Yeah, I agree.
right? Some buy it just because they can afford it. and
yeah.
it's a display of status
Exactly.
of things like that. Some people buy it as an investment because it opens other doors. You know, like when you're a foreigner, you buy a large property like that, you get connected with the senators and all that
Listen,
stuff, whatever.
I agree, but $300
And
million house, you can find two, three, four, $5 million houses that are very practical and just as
of
fantastic with the
course,
backyard and
but
the
I think
pool and
when you get
everything.
to that level of wealth, you cannot use the same logic.
Well, what is the
Because
logic then?
let me tell you, okay, you want to know the logic?
Sure.
Let's say the average guy, wealthy at on our standards, right? Let's say he's making $20K a month,
Mm.
right? And let's just say um, he puts 33% on rent,
Okay.
right? So the portion of his revenue that goes for rent, that goes for a car, etc., etc. So when someone has billions,
Hmm.
he tried to adapt that
He,
same mentality
he's
of
not gonna
upgrading.
put
No,
33%.
exactly.
Okay. All right.
So actually, on his financials, it's even more healthy
Mm.
for him to buy a 300 million house than for an average guy to buy a 500,000 house. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
So
Yeah,
it's on the market,
I agree.
and basically, if they can take it, they take it.
Listen, this house, they struggled to sell it. They
Mhm.
struggled. And the problem is, it's costing, I think the owner or people, the company who owns it, they were in big financial trouble. And some of them
Yeah,
even
definitely, bro.
went to jail or had some financial problems that led them to problems with justice. And because here is the thing, you buy this house,
Yeah,
just to maintain it the way it is, it would
millions,
cost a fortune.
millions.
A fortune just to heat it, to cool it, to
Man,
clean the
and
clean the pools.
these
Like
types
you
of
need a
houses,
team, you need an army of
exactly.
people.
You have an army of people that you need to pay, and you need to, and usually these gardens have special flowers and special this. So
Exactly.
it's not your average gardener. It's not your
Absolutely.
average this,
Yeah.
etc. etc.
Everything is expensive.
But
The
I think
materials are
it's
expensive.
just like another dimension,
Or another day in paradise or whatever. Yeah.
and it's just another dimension, and I don't think we can just use proper logic on it. It's like, for instance, you gave the example earlier of cars, right? So if you use like normal basic logic, there's absolutely no logic of buying a supercar,
Yeah.
except like that's the only one that would enter in the logic if you're like really a big car aficionado,
Enthusiast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that you take it to the racetrack every weekend and etc etc. But on like your normal day to day, like the
Yeah.
speed limit can be reached by a Honda, you know. So
That's
there's
true. That's
no,
true. But how fast could it reach the speed limit?
yeah, but
That's the thrill, though.
like it makes no sense to pour that much money for a car that doesn't do much more than other cars, right?
So
Like if we use pure
pure logic,
logic.
of course, of course. So what would be the plateau? Like there is always, for me, like this house is like beautiful, but it's just like not practical. It's almost like when you go shopping and you see something really nice, but
Yeah.
it's just it wouldn't fit you the same. It wouldn't. It's not for you. It's nice, but it's not for you. This house is the same thing. I think it's nice, but it's not for anybody.
Yeah.
Unless you want to show, display your power, and the house is called the One. I think it's very vulgar. I think it's very, it's not very classy to own a house like this.
Yeah, it's
if
very
you read the
show-off, yeah.
comments, if you read the comments, which I really enjoy reading comments on
So don't hesitate to comment.
please don't hesitate to comment. I really enjoy, and I encourage everybody to, when you watch a video on YouTube, read the comments. Sometimes the comments are even more entertaining than the video itself. So, anyways, you read the comment, and people are making fun of the house. They are like, burglars can come and steal your house, and you could be with all your family in the house and never meet them. And some other comments said, "Honey, where are the kids?" Well, I don't know. Let's go find them. Or go to your room, and then half an hour later, spam, the door slaps. Like because that's the problem. Like it's very hard to create like a sense of family and eating dinner together and spending time together. If you have like a home theater, if you have like 10 entertainment rooms, if your gym in your house is bigger than the gyms in the city, like who needs a gym like that? Like a house gym should not be like
True, but if I
that's
may,
the problem. Yeah, sure.
like you don't need it. But
It's good to have though.
for some people, it works. I would tend to agree with you
Yeah.
on everything you said. But as you know, I was lucky enough to live in a very, very nice house.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
In
So
my,
can we call it a mansion? I don't think at this it's, a mansion.
Like it's a
Yeah.
palace.
It's a
basically,
palace,
right?
for sure, for sure.
And
I
basically,
like how you
was-
didn't disclose what it was, where it
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah,
etc.
because
That's
it's,
very careful. Okay,
all
let's
right.
keep it there.
And basically, I was living
So how many
there,
bedrooms?
like within the unit of the house.
Like all together in the property?
Like basically, it had on the property.
Yeah.
It had 1, 2, 3,
Dude, if
4,
you had to
5,
think about it, like if
6,
you ask me how many
7.
bedrooms I have in my house, I
So
can tell
within
you.
the house, it's 7 suites,
in the main unit where you guys
Yeah.
lived. Yeah, your quarter.
and there's like for personnel and everything. There was like maybe like 21 apartments. I know it sounds crazy, and
So how did you manage to live there? So everybody had his room, obviously,
yeah,
and then some.
and then some. But what resonated with me is that sometimes when I would have friends over, or I would even like have kind of like big parties,
Yeah,
my parents wouldn't even know.
that's the thing.
But like we didn't feel like it was too big. You know what I mean?
But so
It's not like sometimes here you,
Okay.
especially in Morocco, you have like some houses that are
very
a
true.
bit
That's
big,
what I
and
was
you
gonna-
kind of feel like it's empty, and you're
yes, yes.
But we didn't have that feeling because of all the people that were working there. Everything was always
yeah,
like
the house was always
yeah.
full, etc. But so here's the thing: even in Moroccan houses,
Mm-hmm.
we have like the living room,
Mhm.
and we have the traditional living room and the European living room, and everybody sits in the European living room, not because we are it's more fashionable, but it's just easier to maintain.
Mhm.
But the Moroccan one is so expensive. Everything is like
Yeah.
hand stitched, and
The
everything is
fancy
handmade,
room
etc.
we never use.
and we never use it. So it's like in my parents' house, it's there is like I would say 40% of their apartment they almost never go to.
Yeah.
So like okay, so but in a house like this, or in a house where you used to live, or the mansion or whatever you used to live in, there were some rooms that nobody ever get to.
No.
Never like there were some rooms nobody
in,
goes
like,
to. Like they
in-
were made, they were ready,
in
they
the
were
main
clean.
like in the main house.
Yeah, it's all used.
Honestly, it's almost all used.
But the other quarters, it was like for guests, etc. That
It was like more for employees because guests usually lived in the
the
main
main-
house
yeah.
as well. But for some reason, because I tend to agree with everything you said, but when I thought about my own experience,
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't live it that way.
Imagine instead of the setup that you had,
Mm-hmm.
I almost said the country, but in that place,
Mm-hmm.
imagine you had this house, the 21 bedroom, 49 bathrooms. Why would you need 49 bathrooms? Like it's more than 2 bathrooms
Yeah.
per bedroom. Anyways, so would you feel like you could find a use for it? It would be the same?
No.
Or do you think there is a
No,
plateau? Like there is a limit?
Just to be clear, you're for sure you're overdoing it. Like even with 6 or 7 rooms. Like I'm not even talking about 21
Yeah,
rooms.
yeah, yeah.
But that works well. Like there is a house in New Orleans. No, I'm still there is a house because I used to work in like hospitality, and there was this house in Marrakesh, and that house had 19 rooms, right? beautiful, like view of the Atlas Mountains, all
So
that
it's like
stuff.
rented for
And
rent.
basically, they kind of like luxury Airbnb it, and it's usually for events and stuff like that. And it actually works pretty well. Like
Yeah, if you want to rent it for Airbnb, it would be really cool.
like for
Absolutely.
weddings, for stuff like that, like for events,
Yeah.
it works pretty well. So I'm
Was
guessing
it expensive to rent it, like for Airbnb? How much was it?
like the full house.
Well,
It's
I don't think.
expensive, but
Like,
usually when you go to a house that has 19 rooms that can accommodate like 30 people, the price per person isn't that high.
it becomes very cheap. And I think usually, I'm sorry to cut you off, but usually in Marrakesh, in the south, a lot of movies, Hollywood movies, are shot in the south, Gladiator, etc., Troy, etc., etc. So a lot of movie crew, they rent like a whole Medinas, like houses and stuff like that, because they want to stay
Riyadhs and
together. They
stuff.
want, the Riyadh, with all the team, the staff, the technicians, etc. They want to be all in the
Yeah.
same place, so they have meetings, etc. So it's convenient for them, and it's cheaper than to rent hotel
Yeah,
rooms, etc.
definitely.
So
So if you ask that person that had that house in Marrakesh, he would probably tell you it's a good investment because like that particular house is almost, I would say, 60% or 7% of the year booked,
oh,
which is
which is actually pretty good. The turnover, that's
amazing,
pretty good. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so as an investment, maybe it could be something nice, like that go-to luxury place where you can rent to do weddings, events, whatever. But as a usage of like as a home, of course, there's like
Excessiveness.
there's a point where it loses the beauty of a home, which is intimacy.
Exactly. Intimacy. Oh, we're not gonna go
Oh
there
my
again.
God.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
No, but
Yeah.
I think there is a silver lining. There is a limit to luxury.
I agree.
So let's go over a few luxury themes, luxury items that people like to own. So house.
Number one.
Like this is a very clickbaity.
Yeah.
Five
Five
things,
things.
that you need to know before you go to Morocco. Be careful, a lot of Arabs there. So, anyways, that's not all nice Berbers. There are also some Arabs. So, anyways, the in terms of a house for a family, like the average family has 2 or 3 kids. Let's say 3 kids.
Yeah.
I think 4-bedroom apartment, small pool, small yard. Usually anywhere in the world they would go for, like in the suburbs of New York, of course, if you go to Manhattan, you would need
Yeah.
big apartments, etc. But you can get that for $1 or $2 million easy anywhere in the world. So
Yeah.
any house for me that goes for 70, 60, or even this one, $300 million, it's just a little bit too excessive. Unless, like you said, you want to turn it to Airbnb, make it like events, etc. Which the realtors, by the way, they were trying to sway you that way and say, hey, listen, imagine you can have like Phil Collins can come here. I love Phil Collins can come here and do like a piano thing, etc. Because they are trying to open your horizon, give you ideas. Because this house, they are actually in trouble just to maintain the real estate agency, just to maintain it like that, to show it to people. It's costing them
No,
it's
it's millions,
costing them
per
thousands
year.
of dollars a day just to maintain the pool
Yeah,
and the heat and the
100%.
cleaning. And so we talked about cars. Cars are also an interesting theme.
Yeah.
What is the kind of cars? And we can name brands. We are not sponsored by anybody. But by the way, if you guys want to sponsor us, we are ready. What
Especially
are the
cars.
cars?
I need a car.
Definitely. What are the cars that you think are anything above it is just like statement? It's just showing off. Like who has the bigger one?
I think when you hit the
What kind
hundred,
of cars? Give me the names.
like when you hit the $100,000 range cars,
Yeah.
you're at that. That means like in the SUV 4x4, when you hit the Range Rovers or the G wagon or stuff like that, you're already
G wagons are a little, even more.
yeah.
than that.
They start around that price.
Yeah. I
and-
think anything you think. I think I would have said anything lower than that. Like even.
I think that's like the best you can get in comfort and this and
Yes.
this, and after that it's just like
It's just names. You buy in the
you're
price, the
trying
name
you're
tag.
trying a bit too hard. Like, do I really need to have, I don't know, like a pizza maker in my car?
No,
like,
do you
or
need? Do you really need to have the AMG version of that Mercedes, of that G wagon?
yeah, like
Do you? Because it makes more
personally,
noise.
no, but
It's like super
yeah.
powerful. You know, here's the thing. Everybody knows here that I'm a big fan of Teslas.
Yeah.
And for me, Teslas are like really, really cool cars. They are surprisingly not as expensive as, like, it's good money for value. Um, you can buy a Model Y, I think, for like the Model S is the only one that's the most expensive. I think that's the one that's above 100,000, or I think just around 100,000. Anything like that, like the Model 3, which is I think the cheapest one, starts at 37 or 40 or
Yeah.
30 something.
35, I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Y, which is the one that I prefer, it starts at 42, 45 anyways. So less than 50,000 you can buy a Model Y. Some
Yeah.
people buy the performance package.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, I think that's not money well used, because the acceleration is so aggressive. It actually is not that. I don't think it would be so comfortable to do that every day. Like, I would do it quite a few times just to get like the excitement. But it's an option that you pay for six, maybe seven, maybe $10,000. But actually, it's just to show off. So the regular package, the long distance or long range, gives you long range, which is like more reasonable to buy than just like an acceleration. Because how often are you gonna use it? You're not gonna go on track with it. It's
But
not a really.
then
track.
again, it depends on how you look at the car. Like, if you look at it as a car, simply as a car, like a lot of people that buy cars, it's almost a toy. Like
Well-
they want the.
Here is where
the
I'm
stuff.
going with this.
All right.
If you buy like a bag,
Mhm.
there are some. My thing is like, okay, it needs to be good quality leather. It needs to be robust. I don't want to buy one every 6 months because I just
Yeah.
put it, like, be super careful with it because it's super fragile. I need to be able to keep it for years and years. Good quality leather, aesthetically looks good, and then of course, usually the way you can judge the quality is by the brands. Like, a good brand would most likely be good quality. But then there is a ceiling, and there is a limit where now some brands are like really good, and then anything above it, you're just buying the brand name,
True.
the statement. For example, clothes, sports clothes. We play soccer together.
Yeah.
A lot of people buy Decathlon,
Yeah.
Artengo, blah blah blah, whatever. But some of us have like Nike, Under Armour, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a big discrepancy in terms of
Yes.
quality?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. Like in
Elaborate.
this example that you gave, well, me for instance, I wear Decathlon because
too.
I don't look at I still look at football as a hobby,
Well,
and I don't want
everybody
to
that plays
invest
with us does.
that much in it. No, but like what I mean is, like, it's not like my workout or stuff where, but like if you look at the shoes,
Yes.
for instance,
Yes.
like there's a huge difference.
Let's talk about shirts and apparels besides the shoes, because the shoes, you're right. I agree with you on that one.
Apparel wise, not a big difference, but then
No
again,
difference.
it's not a huge difference in price. Like,
No, I think there is a big difference
no,
in price.
it's a big difference because one is very cheap, but the other one,
Yeah,
no, but
kidding.
the other one is not very expensive. This is what I mean. Like, you could afford it, right?
Listen, everything is relative.
Exactly.
It's cheap compared to the like. I can buy like a shirt, a sports shirt, not a cotton one, like a synthetic, like breathable, etc., etc. I can go to Decathlon and buy one for, I don't know, like maybe 100 dirhams, like 10 bucks. Okay. The same one with the Nike thing on it,
You'll get it for twice the price.
twice. You kidding? You would get it maybe even more. So
But just
same quality though. almost like
Yeah,
like
almost.
it could be a little bit different, but
But
not twice as good.
usually, like the higher brands, maybe they will have uh, they will last longer or things like that. But let me give you an example, right? Apple, we cannot touch because they're kind of like alone. But if we compare Xiaomi and Samsung, for instance,
Why don't you want to bring Apple into
because
the
Apple, you can, it's not exactly the same product. Whereas
iPhones and everything? Yeah,
Whereas
iPhones and
Xiaomi phone and a Samsung phone are exactly the same, like in terms of interface, in terms of how you use
Yeah.
it, etc., etc. But one costs 10 times more than the other, and
I wouldn't say 10 times, but
yeah, 10 times. Like
Come on.
Samsung phones, they're the price of iPhones, bro.
that's true.
Like the top ones,
Yeah.
and you have like Xiaomi phones that do exactly the exact same thing.
Listen, I just a quick note.
Mm-hmm.
I love I Apple products. I use Apple products all the time. I have
Mhm.
phones, computers, etc. I love them. The and once you are in that ecosystem, that's where Apple is good. Like once you are in the
Yeah.
ecosystem, like
It
it's
works
hard,
so well together.
Everything works
Man, it's
together. It's
crazy.
like flawless. But
But
the new flip phone, Samsung flip phone,
oh man, I hate flip phones.
man, it's really good. It's really good.
I hate those.
It's really good. Who has it? Somebody who plays soccer with us.
Yeah,
he opened
but
it.
like you're
It's
you're
actually-
talking the one that has one screen, right?
It's like the long one, or there is like almost like the tablet one.
Yeah,
The tablet one, it's a bit too much, or is it?
or is it?
Honestly,
Have you seen that
It's not
phone?
bad.
Like
It's expensive,
6-7 months after usage. Me, I have one of
Probably
my
not.
closest friends that have it. Usually, like you have the middle line that becomes like messed up.
apparent, yeah.
Like it loses like the brightness and stuff.
Okay,
I'm not a big fan of it.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
I,
Tell
I'll-
us in the comments.
I stay with the team of having a phone and iPad
yeah,
personally.
yeah. Well, I have that, but anyways. So you were saying like Xiaomi and everything. Go back to what
Like
you were saying.
Xiaomi, in terms of quality, can give the deliver the exact same thing. I'm looking at Xiaomi TVs that have the screens, like the technology of the screen is Samsung.
Yeah,
The same TV without like the feature because Xiaomi has like a back and the app and stuff.
Okay.
So the same TV made by Samsung that is less performant is more expensive, and it has the same components. So
True.
buying Samsung over Xiaomi for that
You're
product,
overpaying for the brand name.
you're overpaying for the brand name and you get less.
Yeah.
And it's not comparable. It's the exact same.
Okay. Let's talk about the Apple Watch and that watch that you have on your wrist right now.
I have a Xiaomi watch.
I know. So
Mm-hmm.
let's compare the two.
Yeah. It's not comparable
In what way?
in almost every way.
So please elaborate.
Like the Apple
Which
Watch
one is better?
The Apple Watch is a far superior.
Okay, I'm glad that you said that.
No, 100%.
But
This
in
is why
ter-
I didn't want to compare things that are not comparable.
Well, here is what I would add to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Apple Watch feels more expensive, is more expensive by far, but for the usage that you do with it,
Mm-hmm.
this is plenty. The watch
Yeah.
that you have is plenty.
Of course, for the simple use, my simple usage. But I see like people that track their health with it. They have like crazy features on the Apple Watch.
Yeah, but it's just
Like,
gimmick. In my opinion, it's just a gimmick.
Well, I did the test with a cardiologist,
I'm not saying it doesn't work.
and
I'm not saying it doesn't work.
No,
it
no.
works. It's reliable.
yeah,
But
like
who uses it? Like if you had it, if you could like take your heartbeat like anytime you wanted, how often would you do it really? It's just for fun.
no, of course,
Samsung was really good with this. They started like
But
making
that's the
features like
danger.
that.
That's the danger of having that kind of logic. Because if you start thinking like what's gimmicky or not, everything you use as
Not
one
really. I
part
think
of gimmick.
Apple doesn't fall for that as much as Samsung
Man,
does.
If
My
you
cousin,
need just a computer or just a phone, you don't need to pay $1,000 for it,
I hear you.
right?
I hear you.
Like
Okay.
technically, there's nothing that an Apple phone or Apple computer can do that any other computer.
So
can
many
do.
people say
Yeah.
that people who buy iPhones are just snubs, just like people who buy the house that we talked about in the beginning. See how I tied everything together?
Ooh.
So it's just for they are just snubs, and
No.
like they could buy a Xiaomi for like a
strong-
quarter of the price, etc.
I strongly disagree because Apple, in my opinion, has something that the others don't have,
Which is
and
what?
which I value a lot, is user experience.
User experience, and honestly, the phones don't crash, don't do anything.
Like
Their
it's
computers as well.
nice to it's a nice experience to use. It's beautiful. Maybe it can be superficial, but it's beautiful. Like everything that you open, that you look at, etc. It's fluid. It's nice.
That's true. The design, they have a little
Like-
edge on the design. Like the everything looks better.
Exactly. Like even like you come in an office and there's an Apple computer that's turned off. It's nice. You know.
Listen, but are we like not really? Are we biased because we like that?
Perhaps because it's aesthetics. So
Maybe
of
the
course.
marketing is having an
Of
effect
course.
on us. Because
But then again, they know how that this is why they're one of the most successful tech company in the world.
yeah.
Like well, I mean, like in computers and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that whether it's justified or not, they understood, especially Steve Jobs, understood that
May
the
he rest in
experience
Yeah.
is everything.
True. And also like
Because you would be happy to pay more for anything if you have a better experience.
that's very true. And when you go to the Apple store, the experience is amazing there.
Exactly.
The store is well lit. The tables are like very designed, and like the wood, etc. Like everything looks really good. The experience is really good. When I used to work there, people came. Sometimes they came to me and they said, "Okay, I want to buy this computer. Look at the performance.
I want
You
the
have the
best
same
one.
one. No, no,
The
you
most
have no. You
expensive?
have the same one. No, that's another story. You have the same one. I found a Windows like compact computer for like 30 or 35 or 40% less money
Yeah.
than this one, and it has the same specs. I'm like, and the managers, they also encouraged us to like not push the products. The product is so good, it sold itself. So we're like, okay, then go buy the Windows computer. Like, what do you want me to say? Oh, come on, like, no, but explain to me. I'm like, listen,
You want me to justify you buying?
like, you know, we are better. We make all the components. It's not like one is made in Taiwan, one is made this, one is made here. And you open the computer, it doesn't ask you to install anything. It just does what it's supposed to do. It's flawless. Now you can go ahead and buy the other one. In 2 or 3 years, you would probably need to buy another one. This one, the one that I had at that time when I was working at Apple, I had it already for like 4 or 5 years, which
True.
which I still have today, which is the one right over there. I don't know if you
Man,
can see it on the camera.
this is a valid point because the longevity of those products
are just
it's-
amazing. Amazing.
Like it's still I bought before buying this my computer. We have the same.
Yeah.
And the one before we have the same. So before buying our last one,
Yeah.
I bought that one in 2000, late 2010 or early 2011, and I bought my computer now maybe a year ago. So it lasted a good 10 years.
Yeah.
Being a graphic designer that uses tools and stuff that kind of need some kind of performance and
Yeah.
everything, and like I didn't really need, like it wasn't like to the point where
Yeah.
I need to change.
Exactly.
You know,
like,
like
it's becoming obsolete.
I'm
I
sure
want to change
I
it.
could have like pulled a couple of years more,
Yeah.
and that I never saw
That's
on
true.
any other
That's true. That's true.
thing. So
Yeah, I think they are a little bit superior by far, and it's very hard to justify it because the price is.
But there's
is like,
status as well that
Yeah.
comes with it. Like
that's true. That's true.
I'm not gonna lie, it feels good to, like you said, like I said earlier, like visually to have those products.
All
Like to be,
aluminum, it looks good. It's like
and
it's
it looks
a fashion
good.
statement.
You sit down at a table, like, a guy. I'm not gonna lie. Look, you might look at me a different way, but when I sit down on a table and somebody has a PC and I come with my Mac, I kind
I'm
of feel a
like-
bit superior. to my brother, the Apple lover.
You know, honestly, I cannot judge them too, to be honest. But also, like, I used to. I
Yeah,
used to
that guy
study.
is no shit. He has an Android, bro.
Listen, I used to
Yeah.
be. I used to be a computer science major,
Oh.
and I used to know how to fix computers much better than now. And to be honest, when somebody says, "Oh, can you help me? I need to fix this on my computer," first question: is it a Mac or Windows computer? Oh, it's a Windows. Sorry, I don't, because I don't know how to use them anymore. I haven't been using them for so long, like
Yeah.
over 12 or 15 years. So, okay, démarrer, start, and then all right, paramètre. Where is paramètre? But when I go
Yeah,
on a
what
Mac, it's like on Mac. Very rarely do people ask me
What's
to
the
fix
last
it.
Windows that you really used?
Oh man, I think first year in college.
The last Microsoft Windows that I used was the Windows Vista.
Yeah, the Windows Vista with
Then
Service
they
Pack
did
2.
something like with squares and
Yeah.
stuff. Then
Service Pack 2.
that
You
I don't
need
know
to
how to
install that.
use at
So,
all.
how about the last Apple that you used? Where is it right now?
What do you mean?
The last
computer?
Mac computer that you
It-
used?
it's in my office.
Exactly. It's still no, mine is still over there.
and sometimes like when I have like tedious tasks that take like a lot of
yeah,
time, like rendering stuff like that, I just turn it on and I put it there. It takes
Yeah.
a bit more time than mine, but at
but
least
it's okay.
keeps
It
mine.
will get the job done.
Yeah.
So you think back to stupid money and what money can buy and what not buy? Like you think buying a Mac computer is you pay a little more, but it is a statement, like a fashion statement, or you're in or you're whatever. But it's worth the money. Like it's not like buying a Bugatti.
But as no, that's where the difference is. As a user
Yeah.
of Apple, I tend to think that there is a difference. But for the same price, if you come back to using that pure logic, for the same price, usually performance wise, you get better for cheaper on Microsoft and stuff as a computer, right? If you're buying a
But
computer,
do you really get better?
yeah, and performances, no doubt.
Well, I don't know. In terms of longevity, like how long are you gonna keep your computer? So technically, you're paying how much per year to have that computer? Like it's
But
losing value.
people will tell you the same thing with the Ferrari,
Well, it is the same thing.
right? So that's the thing. You cannot use always kind of like the same logic because there is still a bias depending on your taste, on what's important for you in your life, etc., etc.
Of course, everybody
And,
has different needs. For sure, everybody has different needs. But I don't know. I think, you know, I saw something that was interesting about fashion, like high fashion, high end fashion brands like, you know, Yves Saint Laurent, Chanel, etc., etc. And their base customer, their customer base, sorry, is not rich people.
Today,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's actually middle income.
because middle income are the ones
Who
that
struggle
that
and-
need to show.
Exactly, that they are rich.
And usually the rich guys tend to go minimal.
Exactly. If you watch Mark Zuckerberg, he doesn't dress like in Bugatti. He doesn't wear like super expensive watches and drives Bugatti and is like in your face.
But you
Look
know
at my
why?
money. Look at my money.
You know
'Cause he
why?
doesn't need to. Everybody knows.
No, but what's the
he's
difference?
wearing his face.
What's the difference between like big ballers in the 80s and big ballers today?
Taxes.
I think it's information. People know who you are.
That's true.
You
That's
know?
exactly. He's wearing
So
his
you
face.
don't need to demonstrate.
Yeah, but even like in Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
you see them. They like young kids who make it big, etc. They have like a nice car, etc. But they don't try to dress to impress as much as possible and have like a Bugatti. Oh, I want to make as much noise as possible.
I would
And,
say it comes with stages. Like because like one of the greatest examples that we can use to illustrate this is Jay-Z as a rapper. He was a rapper, made it big, etc. But then he became
Jay-Z as a rapper. No, Jay-Z as a ballet singer.
no, because Jay-Z is not a rapper anymore.
Well, he
he's
is.
way more than that.
Well, he's an entrepreneur, etc.
Like,
of course.
he's a successful businessman,
Of course.
etc., etc.
Yeah.
And if you look at his career, the way he consumes items, he was very show off at the beginning. You know, and basically when they hit it big, they go all out.
Mhm.
But as they
You get used to it.
get used to it, and they see that they're not defined by it anymore. Like if you look at him today, he's always with a black shirt,
Yeah,
jeans,
very simple, etc.
and when you look at him like 30 years ago, he's like golden chains everywhere, grills, and
All
stuff.
the rappers they have that.
Yeah,
right?
so I think even like a new, like even in Silicon Valley, you have those guys that make it big. They buy the Bugatti,
they have
buy
stupid
this,
money,
they
yeah.
buy this because it's not something that they've been educated to have that amount of money from.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like
true,
it's
that's
a
true.
one hit. But when they come to becoming sustainably wealthy, usually everybody goes back down because they don't need to show off anymore. People know who they are. They don't need to have like a. It's nice if you like watches, they'll have a nice watch. If not, they have an Apple Watch or some shit like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
etc., etc. So
No, I agree. I think a lot of rappers when they all start their career by thinking, okay, I need to show success, even though it's not really your success. Like sometimes they rent cars, they rent houses, like
even
it's like
houses, like to come back to
fake
the
bills,
theme,
etc. Yeah,
like
wow,
they
thank
want
you.
to bring back their teams and stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of them brag about it and stuff.
Yeah. Or sometimes in their lyrics, they're like, "Look
Yeah.
how much money I have, bitch! I have more money than you." Like, really?
There's
Like,
this rapper
dude.
that had a lyric that goes well with the house.
Okay.
He said something like, "I have 10 bathrooms. I can shit all day."
Yeah. So,
You know?
so yeah, it's. I think even like in the fashion word, like
Yeah.
it's always I feel a little bit sad when people, especially women, they fall for this a lot. They buy very expensive bags, not because they like it, but because hey, I'm gonna go with my girlfriends. I'm gonna put it on the table, so they are like all jealous. Did you see how she looked at me? No, and men are less like that. Men they would dress like whatever, like bums
Yeah,
usually, and they're like, hey,
but
what
men have that same thing elsewhere. Like, for instance, there's
cars?
cars a lot.
True.
There's cars. There's like even like in sports. Like I've seen it a lot in golf. Like people that play golf, they're always coming like, look at this club. You know, like I have
Yeah.
this club. It's a hybrid. This or
That's
you know,
true.
like it depends on where the value
Less
within
than
the group.
women, though. Less than women. You have to admit, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Women fall for fashion and they buy very expensive things. They sometimes they struggle to with their salary. They save up for like months and years sometimes to buy that expensive bag. And there is a very big. There is a guy that I think is really interesting. He's a professional in leather, and he opens up the bags. And did you see it? I saw it on Insta. I think he opens the bags and he says, "Okay, this is a Hermes bag. Let me open it." Boom.
This is this quality of
This
leather.
quality is actually good. It's not bad.
So I
Well,
would
don't buy
price it at this, like to produce. This is the cost.
This is how much it costs them. Usually, like a bag that's like 500 euros, it costs them probably like maybe $70 to make.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the rest you're paying for the brand. So it's your choice. If you want to pay for it, I'm not judging you. I mean, well, I am a little bit. I'm showing you how much it costs and how much you're paying for. But hey, dum, if you want to buy it, buy it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think there are some brands that make good clothing, good clothing. For example, for me, I think the one that I have access to here in Morocco, I buy my pants. And shout out to Miriam who brought me pants all the way from the US because I'm in odd I'm in odd shape, and you know that like there are three brands. There is like Old Navy, and there is like a Gap and Banana Republic. It's all the same company, okay? So and they have like Old Navy is like the lowest,
Yeah.
and then there is Gap, and there's the Banana Republic is the high end one. I buy from usually either Gap or Old Navy, but sometimes Banana Republic if I have to buy stuff for work, etc. Which now I work from home, I don't really care, just whatever. So I think that's for me. Anything that you pay above, you can make yourself happy and buy like a very expensive, like whatever, like a coat that is very expensive.
Yeah.
It's good, it's fine, but I think that's good quality for your money. Here in Morocco, brands like H&M. Some people said Zara. I don't really buy at Zara. My wife used to do, and she said that their quality went a little bit down. But I think anything around that is actually decent. You don't need to pay more. For example, that hoodie, you probably paid, I don't know, for a hoodie. And here is how I judge the price. How much would I pay for a hoodie? I don't care how much you sell it for. How much do I judge like it's good price? So for me, a hoodie, I buy it anywhere from 30 to 50 bucks. If it's a really cool one, I can spend 50 bucks on it. But this is the average price I
Yeah.
would pay for a hoodie. And then I shop around. I check the quality. I see a little bit if it's good.
Yeah, well, marketing exists, right?
Yeah, but
and we know for a fact that it works.
it exists because we fall for it.
Yeah, well, so some people kind of justify the value, kind of like what we do with Apple.
True.
You know, like how much would you pay for a computer?
I would pay $1,000 for a computer. Around that. 1,000, 1,100.
But
That's how much I would pay.
You put that price because because you were used to buying Apple
Well,
computers.
no, there are
When
some Apple computers that are way more, but I
when
don't
you
need them.
arrived to the US, like when was it? 2005?
No,
Something.
2003.
2003. Back then, how much was a computer?
Well, they had like a student discount, etc. So I used to buy it for that much money. Yeah.
For a thousand?
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot, man. I bought a super nice computer when I arrived to Montreal.
I think it was
I
like
bought it like
800 maybe.
$600.
No, I think I bought mine for like 800, maybe 800. But anyways, my thing is, how much would you pay? What do you consider like a decent price for a car? And anything above it, you're just buying the fashion statements.
Once again, I can only give you the value taking into account that I've been hit with marketing all this time.
Yeah,
The
well,
reality is
everybody has been. Yeah.
the reality is that if an entry level car has the minimum requirements in comfort, security, all that stuff, then technically that should be the price.
I think here is how I would answer this question. I think a car should be anywhere between $40,000 to $60,000.
Yeah, and if you can't afford that, or you can
No,
afford
of course,
way more,
if you can afford it, even if
Exactly.
listen, even if I could afford way more, I would stick with that because, like a nice BMW X5 or a Volvo XC 40, 60, or whatever the big 190, I think these cars they have everything, all the
Yes.
bells and whistles. You can buy the Bugatti Veyron. Yes, it looks very good. Yes, it goes super fast, but listen, the Volvo is just as good. You will not go Yes, it's cool to have 360 kilometers per hour on your counter. You are not gonna go that far. Listen, that fast. Like just 200, 220, just like any regular car. And even that, you're not gonna go that fast. A Volvo is very classy, very nice. Like honestly, the car that I have right now, I'm very, very happy with it. And I think it's the good balance between how much money you spend
Yeah.
and also it feels good to be in a nice car, of course. Like if you consider, oh, I'm just buying a car to go from point A to point B, then just buy the cheapest one. It takes you from point A to point B. But this one gives you comfort, the luxury, the sound system, the safety, etc., which are very, very good.
yeah,
Anything above it, you're
at
just
some
paying for
point
the brand.
you hit what you need,
Yeah.
and then you come into the what you can get. Like and
But the same thing for houses, same thing for a lot of things. Like I get what people when people like watches and they collect watches and they want to buy the latest, the rare model of. And also, I think it speaks to like, oh, I'm the only one who has that model. I'm the only one,
Yeah.
limited edition. Oh,
for
limited. Who
some,
cares?
But like if you take the example of your friend that came to the Ça reste entre nous,
yeah, which one? Oh yeah, the watch guy.
the watch guy.
Yeah,
For instance, he wouldn't have the same approach.
he would not because he's
So-
passionate about
Exactly.
watches.
So I think there is that kind of passion behind every
Yes.
choice, etc., etc. So we can't really define it, but at some point, like 21 room house with 49 bathrooms
That's
and stuff,
too much. man.
there is a point where it's too much. But hey, if you can afford it,
If you can afford it, I think even if you can afford it, there are so many great things that you can do with that money.
100%.
Listen, a $6 million mansion can give you
300
just
million?
as much. It's like
it's like. But hey,
Whatever floats your boat.
Maybe if we're lucky enough to hit that point one
Listen.
day,
Listen,
we'll
we
talk about
count
it.
on you. We need 100 views on this
Exactly.
podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. This was another day in paradise. It was a little bit long, but I hope you enjoyed the ride. We will see you next time. Peace out.
See you soon.